cluster of volcanic islands in the Pacific, the island of Ambrim. Fallout of volcanic eruptions. We met Chief Mile Moses, here with members.
Do spirits live in the fire?
He's burning through that spirit.
About the loss of their ancient culture. He asked us,
Once upon a time, they have lost the idea of after we've gone through a long suffering.
This film started for me 10 years ago in Antarctica. Volcano, one of the 3 in the world, where you can look stress 12,500 feet above sea level. We were briefed on the etiquette of how to deal. What really impressed me was seeing degrees Fahrenheit.
Face is frozen.
Permanence to what we are doing. No permanence to live and survive because the volcanoes created the atmosphere. Way back in 1976, when I first filmed them explode at any moment, and 70,000 pages of volcanoes. As it would eventually turn out. Other people. This is the very avalanche what is rushing down this slope at over 100 degrees Fahrenheit.
October, when I was 19 years old.
Indonesia was the right place for an aspiring. It had been relatively quiet the last few years, expecting what happened next. Left the area. A few days later, we saw this on Indonesian television.
So in 2010 and its escalation.
The first indication was
Of all the many volcanoes, for the locals, ghosts, the flying foxes, the
It's too big to film. We should have booked a ticket on the international scale. The eruption occurred
This is part of the Danakil Depression based on our planet. During summer, only entered accompanied by armed soldiers. This depression is only part of a long stretched rift the continent breaks off. Such places volcanoes form. This particular one, at the 3 in the world, where magma is directly exposed.
very sharp still.
Moving KK out. This is your chance.
I don't think it's too hot for me.
This is your chance.
As dusk came, compared to where, in the early morning hours of the edge of the town of Haymay. in the windows. A season goes by in Iceland. In 2010, it is remembered as the eruption melted the thick ice covering on top of the nothing compared to earlier eruptions in Iceland. Beginning on June 8, 1783, this entire horizon.
Like half of that distance overall, so. And another few dozen vents opened up to the northeast of us and down to the ground again. And that built lava gushed out at a phenomenal rate. This is very 100, 150 meters.
Of the people. It exists only scrolls are for Israel. Neath the sea, the land sinkens, fall the fair bright stars. Comes the darksome dragon. Place of the Korean nation. Today we saw a formation of uniformed men with a flames come to rejoice in the power that emanates. Thing is different in North Korea. Imagine if these were near impervious country opened its doors to a gentle unity and fervent emotion.
예상의 경지에 올려세우신 위대한 김정일 장군님의 뜨겁게 안아볼수록 역사의 초행길을 헤치시며.
One thing that's remarkable, and I'm very... Actually, we're at ground zero of this, what was a most monumental pumice that came out in the eruption would be enough to bury the whole of New York City surrounding us. And imagine that once there was a cone built over rock and pumice and lava. So around 10 years ago, there was and might be signs of reawakening. For 2 years, we've built a really strong and so we've really shared our experiences and
linked to a laptop, and yet that's.
조선민주주의인민지진국에서는 이번 국제협조 사업에 대해서
administration of the Democratic People's Republic of Korea.
일본 제국주의자들을 타성한 이런 혁명.
Right here at the foot of the mountain. Thus.
경지에서 전날 밤을 보내는 조선인민 위대한 장군님께서
On the 21st.
여기가 조금 더 올라가서 사모 모시지.
And a little further up.
모자이크 벽화 이후의 윤곽.
Their pilgrimage to this humble place. For North Koreans, the founding
해방될 때까지 바로 걸린 정무위 포단 그대로 존실해 있어요.
Practical that they had no blanket at all. That is why the Korean
manifests itself in collective formations of the North Korean landscape of Mount Paektu. But in all this display of the masses, I find an underlying because of, to our eyes, it is strange to see people display. Always in the vicinity location of where they had been taken. Standing now.
주령님께서 지금 우리가 서 있는 이 자리에 not this place but up there in the 장군 peak.
공부도 잘하겠습니다. 인사합니다.
공부도 잘하겠습니다.
안녕히 가십시오.
Real. And I didn't understand. Everything will melt. The stone, the soil will melt.